Y'all have other children?
Yes.
And are y'all's other children living at home too?
Yes.
Oh my Lord.
Welcome to the Rebel Chaser channel. My name is Gail, and this clip comes from Judge Tammi Long-Hayward at Georgia's Clayton County State Court. She is taking the plea of a domestic violence defendant, and the best part is the conversations surrounding that. Let me know what you guys think.
All right, Mr. Johnson, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Johnson, you're before the court for a plea, State of Georgia versus Keith Nathaniel Johnson. You're represented by attorney Justin White, who's here with you in the courtroom. Mr. White, what is your client plea to the offenses before the court? 1, obstruction of an officer; 2, obstruction of an officer; and 4, criminal trespass.
Your Honor, he's pleading to count, I guess this is 4 criminal trespass. The 2 obstructions are to be null pros, Your Honor, and he's pleading guilty.
All right. So, Mr. Johnson, by entering a plea of guilt to criminal trespass, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest shall negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On May the 7th, 2023, officers were dispatched to Jonesboro, Georgia, in Clayton County. Your Honor, the officers were dispatched because of a domestic disturbance. Your Honor, the officer indicated that the victims, who in this case were defendant's parent, called indicating that defendant was cursing them out. Your Honor, the officer indicated that the victims stated that whilst they were waiting for the officers to be present at the incident location, the defendant then locked the door, stood in front of the door, and locked his parents out of the house. Your Honor, when the officers arrived, the officers made contact with the defendant. The officers then requested defendant for ID. Defendant refused. The officers asked for defendant's name and date of birth. Defendant refused. Defendant then started acting aggressively towards the officers. The officers then proceeded to arrest defendant. Defendant stiffened his body to pull away from the officers, trying to avoid being handcuffed. Your Honor, that is the factual basis. The state recommendation will be counts 1 will be non-pros, counts 2 will be non-pros, counts 3 will be 12 months to serve 25 days. The balance will be suspended and do not return and stay away.
All right. So, Mr. Kotoroki, make sure that the record is complete, that you have the address that they're to stay away from and the name of the victims who they're supposed to stay away from. So this is Mr. Johnson. Mr. White, on behalf of Mr. Johnson, do you have any concerns about his ability to enter into this plea?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Kotoroki, did you want to provide that information?
Yes, Your Honor. The first victim will be Mr. James Keith Johnson, and the second victim will be Miss Alana Johnson.
Okay. All right,
Could I
so,
have the spelling? I'm sorry. Could I have the spelling of Alana, please?
Yes. So that A as in Alpha, R as in Robert, Lena.
okay. All right, Ms. Wright, did you have everything?
Let me repeat that. A as in Apple, R as in Robert,
Yes,
Lena.
yes.
Okay,
All right.
thank
All
you.
right, Mr. White, anything else on behalf of Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor, I just want to put on the record, Mr. Johnson has been in jail since May of this year. He's been in jail for a while. We did file the motions in this. He originally pled not guilty back in June. Then we filed the motions. The motion was continued, I believe, 2 times. And it's kept being put on different calendars, hence why he's been in jail for such a long time. Based on some information he told me the last time I spoke with him, we just gone ahead and decided to enter a plea, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so Mr. Johnson, my apologies for the extended stay. The court is going to accept your plea. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 25 days credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you do not go back to the incident location and that you do not have contact with the individuals listed for the remainder of the 12-month period, okay? All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office and you should be released today if there's nothing else holding you. All right, who's the gentleman coming forward?
Oh, Your Honor, the victims in Mr. Johnson's case are here. I believe they wish to speak.
All right, let's hold Mr. Johnson up. Come on up, sir. Come on up.
Well, hold on, Mr. Johnson.
I'm James Keith Johnson, father of Keith Johnson. I do not feel threatened by him, and it's okay for him to return.
All right, so Mr. Johnson, let's have a brief conversation. So how old is your son?
Could you repeat that?
How old is your son?
27.
Okay, and does he have any issues that the court should be aware of?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so no concerns for mental health or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right, so is he living separate from you?
He's living with us. He's a resident there at 655 Washington Drive.
Okay, what is the reason that he's living with you as a grown man?
We was helping him out.
So, Mr. Johnson, I'm a parent, so I speak as a judge and a parent, and I've been doing this for 11 years. It is hard for adults to be adults in the same house. If somebody doesn't have skin in the game, then if they want to be an adult, but they ain't put nothing on it, it's very difficult, and that causes a lot of problems. And a lot of what I see when there's conflict between a parent and an adult child is a parent thinking that they're helping an adult child when really you're breaking their wings. Because until somebody gets out in the world and learns what they need to do to go forward in the world and be successful, then any attempt to help them really is a hindrance. Every successful person that I know personally, whether their parents communicated it to them like verbally or whether they made it clear at the age where they finished high school, you can do any of these things. Military, college, trade school, work, any of those things, but you can't continue to live here. And it is only when we release our grown children into the world that they learn how to appreciate everything that you've worked hard to provide for them, because they got to work hard to provide for themselves. And so at 27 years old, y'all need to give him an eviction date. This is the date by which you will be getting out of our house and establishing yourself separately. Because continuing to hold on to him and we helping him, you're not helping him. You're not. And all it's going to do is cause conflict because you can't be grown in another grown person's house. I'm not grown in my mama's house. I am well of age. I'm sure I'm probably both older than both of y'all. And I walk into my mama's house, and in her mind, I'm still 12. I can't be grown in her house. And I understand that. And so I govern myself accordingly. And then I get my tail back onto my house where I am grown. But I also know that being out in the world has made me resilient, responsible, and it has made me understand that I can achieve and do things on my own 2 feet. And so when parents think that they're helping, we're paying the bills, he's here, he might be working a little job, but we doing everything else. That's not, you're not making him a man. What age did you get out in the world and start having to work and support yourself, Mr. Johnson?
20.
Excuse me?
20, ma'am, 20.
Okay, so why are you holding your son back from experiencing what you experienced?
We're working on setting him free.
No, because you're actually handicapping him, and I'm just gonna tell you. Everybody I hear, they'll say, well, I was out there at 16. I was out there at 18. I was out there at 20. But then their 30, 27, 30, 40-year-old son is still laying up in their household. And my grandmother had a phrase she used. She had 13 children. And she said, what you're not going to do is be laying up here using up all my electricity. Because all that does is make him, here's another term, sorry. You're taking away his ability to stand on his own 2 feet and be a man. Yes. Want and need they will build character quicker than anything else. If you want something and you got to figure out how to get it yourself, or if you need something and you got to figure out how to take care of yourself, those things build character. Helping somebody turns them into somebody who can't do nothing unless somebody is helping them. And I give you this long conversation because so many parents, hopefully there are other parents out there watching, so many parents are helping their kids into irresponsibility. Because if you pass from this earth, Lord forbid that happens anytime soon, what is going to happen to that person who can't stand on their own 2 feet? I'm just saying, you can love somebody too much. Make him responsible. At 27 years old, there is no way he needs to be still up in y'all's house, even if he had to get 10 roommates and work 2 jobs. Because I worked 2 jobs in college. I worked 2 jobs in high school. I mean, if you have the drive, my husband ain't never had less than 3 jobs. So if you have the ability to work and take care of yourself, that's how you build. That's how you build for yourself. Does he have children?
No, ma'am.
Good. Because that's one less person that he has to be responsible for. But at 27 years old, he got to get out and be responsible for himself. Because all of this, we gonna keep bringing him back in here and he's gonna keep causing trouble. I wish I would raise my hand to my mama. I wish I would bar her from her own house. I wish, and my grandmother, she'd have pulled a switch off the nearest tree. So the old school ways, they worked. They worked for a reason. Okay. All right. Ma'am, did you wish to say anything? I didn't want to keep you from expressing yourself. But I'm just saying, y'all hurting him by this whole keeping him in the house thing. Work out a plan, work out a timeline for him to get out and get on his own.
Yes.
All right. Y'all have other children?
Yes.
And are y'all's other children living at home too?
Yes.
Oh my Lord. How old are they?
Well, my daughter needs help. She has some mental problems.
Okay. Well, that's who you should be focused on. Are you a member of the National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI?
I've been to their meetings before.
Okay, good, good. That's a good organization that may help you help your daughter. But yeah, that's who y'all should be focused on. Really focused on. And then if your son is not able to stand up on his own 2 feet, how is he ever going to assist his sister if something should happen to y'all and y'all aren't able to help her? He got to be established in order to come back and help her. But if he ain't got nothing and can't do nothing, how's he going to help her? All right, just consider these things. All right, and if you want no violent or harassing contact, I'll give it to you. I don't have a problem with that. Miss Wright, you can alter the sentence to no violent or harassing contact for Mr. Johnson, but I want y'all to be mindful that instead of raising a man, you're continuing to coddle a baby. All right. All right, y'all are free to go at this time. Thank you.
Sometimes tough love is very, very tough to take. And if they don't get him sort of on the right path and supporting himself, taking care of himself and relying on himself, he is going to be there forever. I know this because my 62-year-old brother still lives with his mom, my mom. Still there. He does help her quite a bit, but and she's 87, so it's nice that he's there. But yeah, they don't ever leave. If you let them stay too long, they will never leave. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.